Hi guys. I'm gonna set up my lights. Give me a second. Whoops. Oh, let me begin. Hi. Sorry. I can't find my earbud case anywhere. I don't know where it is. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hi Blaze. Hi everybody. You guys have a whole conversation going on here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch up. Let me see. Okay. Why am I always so tired on the carnivore diet? I'm sorry, Raquel. My first question would be, what are your macros? What are you eating? And hi, everybody. Yeah. Oh, we got back from buying the weekly meats. It's just starting. I came up here an hour. I changed my alarm so that it is an hour before YouTube, before my live, that I come up here and I make it. So hopefully you guys got more of a alert on that. I still don't know where my earbud is. Yeah, so Raquel, my question would be, what are you eating? Are you just eating whatever you feel like? Do you have any idea what you are eating? Hello, Keto Mama. Hello, Laurie and Blaze and George. That's not George. That's John. Thank you. Lisa, Connor, Bonnie, Tara, everybody. Hi, guys. Veggies? Fermented are also a good idea. Let me see. Okay. Connor says, I always think back to rabbit starvation. I'm starting to think we only need fat, no protein. I disagree with that. We definitely do need protein. Muscle is made out of protein, not out of fat. We do need protein. We just don't need nearly as much as we are told that we need, because on standard American diet, it is a wasting state for our chemistry. And yeah, we have to, that one's not on. And yes, we have to constantly, that's the wrong way. It's a little bit better. Refill it, because we are not recycling everything the way that we should be. Oh, she said it's so good. Shh. I'm on YouTube. She always forgets. She just got back though. Let me see. Oh, how do you say that? Mankey? Is that how you pronounce? Did I pronounce that right? The Mankeys. Tammy. Hi, Amy. Watching you from Trego, Wisconsin. Thank you for all you do. Increasing my fat has really made all the difference. Aw, you're very welcome. Hi, Allie. Ha, Mankeys. I got it right. So I figured today we would talk about, while I'm waiting for Raquel to tell me what she knows what she's eating, because she sounds like she's probably, I mean, honestly. Cal protein 68, fat 132 on chronometer, but I don't think I'm even getting up to those numbers. That would be important to get up to those numbers, because if you're not getting up to those numbers, chances are you probably are under eating. Hi, Tina. Better late than never, right? I'm such a butt. Yes, I am. Oh, I was making bacon. Speaking of fat. Yes, that's why I have my, what's this thing called? It's called a something. It's called an apron. That's why I have my apron on. So I figured that today we would talk about, does fat make you fat? Because the latest video that I just put up with Dr. Boz, she talks about foie gras, and she states that the geese are fed fat to make their livers fat. And I was like, wait, I mean, if you overconsume anything, you have the potential to make yourself fat. But I was like, wait, I think that I'm missing something to this whole concept. Hi, Amy from Tennessee. Hi, Anne Marie. Got to head back to the fat too. I felt so good when I started in 2017 and got away from it. So many of us are like that. Yes, I kind of like his yelling and cussing. I find it funny. That's hilarious. Wendy and Harry, I'm loving it on keto. I've started eating more fat and using Keto Mojo. They seem to be doing much better. So many people, it just does so much better. Sausage and chicken had electrolytes this morning. Was better for a while, but now could fall asleep anytime just sitting here. Raquel, I would wonder if you are, hi Marina. There could be several things. I don't know how long you've been carnivore, but Emily Penton can attest to this. And honestly, a lot of people can attest to this. If they eat too much protein, it makes them extremely tired. It makes me extremely tired. And the reason that that tends to happen is that according to this little book right here, Quality Eating Guide, in the very back, it says, why isn't it working? And number one, too much protein. It says 15% of your diet should be protein. Anything over that will turn into glucose. Your body cannot get into the right chemistry state if you're turning extra protein into glucose. So chances are you're eating too much protein, you are turning the excess into glucose, and you're running on that, and then you crash. Because just like a sugar high, a sugar rush, you're going to go high, and then you're going to come down really fast. So that would be my guess, is that you are probably eating too much protein. Because you said sausage, and where did I get that little book? So these actually come together. It's the Continuums on one side, and then the Quality Eating Guide on the other side. And this is on Dr. Boz's site. If you're going to order it fast, because soon they're going to have to change it to where, I think it's like September 1st, they're changing it to where anything under $50 does not have free shipping anymore, because the prices of everything are going up ridiculously. So do that fast. But this is the bundle. It's the fridge magnet, the double-sided fridge magnet, and this little Quality Eating Guide. So it's got all the better, best, good things in here. This is a keto recommendation. This is not a carnivore recommendation. But the cool thing about us carnivores is that we can go, I don't eat plants, so this doesn't apply to me. This doesn't apply to me. Cross that off. Not that one. I can't have dairy because I end up with a rash, so that one doesn't apply to me. It just kind of gives you more ideas. Pretty bird. Hi, pretty bird. The frog raw, they literally force feed the goose to get fat into the liver. I believe it's not a nice process, and it's very expensive to buy. So yes, back to, I'm going to stay on topic, I promise. Back to that, the frog raw, which I'm sure I'm not even saying it right. I hope that it does help Raquel. So she made the statement that they overfeed them fat and it makes their liver fat. And I'm going, but that doesn't make any sense to me, because it requires insulin to activate your system to open up the cells to make you store, because the cell doors go one way, either in because insulin is high and things can only go in, or out because insulin is low and then things can be taken out of the cells to make energy. So I'm like, okay, I'm very confused as to how this works. Now, granted, overeating anything, force feeding yourself, now that's part of the process. Force feeding yourself is part of the problem. And most of us are not force feeding ourselves. And what they do, I actually took a couple of screenshots. Hi, Amy, I'm wearing a Freestyle Libre CGM, and it's not that accurate. No, it's not. It is, first of all, interstitial fluid, so it's different than blood glucose. And I honestly recommend that people use the CGM more for patterns than for accuracy. I would go with whatever hey Ford, I would go with whatever your finger stick is saying. That is going to be more accurate, and then you'll just know to kind of shift your thinking. But with the CGM, it's really more about the pattern than anything else. So I have been doing some research on this fatty duck liver, duck or goose. So to produce foie gras, the French term literally means fatty liver. Workers ram a pipe down the throats of male ducks and geese twice a day. For ducks, it's pumping up to 2.2 pounds of grain and fat. It's not just fat, it's grain and fat into their stomachs, or geese 3 times a day and up to 4 pounds. Oh my gosh. And most of what I found, they feed them corn meal. This is what they're feeding them. And I don't know if you guys remember, Dr. Boz has said several times that the particle size matters. So this isn't the whole grain corn. Now it's been ground up into cornmeal. So that's even worse. So it's spiking their insulin way, way, way up. And then it's storing everything extra. It's not because they're eating fat that they're getting fat, that they have a fatty liver. Now, with that being said, I think, yes, if you overconsume and you force yourself to eat, let's say that you should normally be about 2,000 calories a day because of how active you are and how old you are and what you're doing. This is just a rough estimate. And you are forcing yourself to consume 4,000 calories, and a lot of it is from fat. Yeah, you're going to have a problem, because force feeding, period, is not healthy. Overdoing anything can be bad, whether it is carbs, protein, or fat. You can kill yourself by drinking too much water. Literally. If you drink more than like a gallon, for some people it's like up to 2 gallons a day, you can kill yourself just from over consuming water. So over consuming anything is a bad, bad, bad thing. So when I found out don't Google it. Don't Google it. I found out that that's how they do it. Now, fair warning, down below in the description, I linked a 4-minute video for anyone who does not believe how they are feeding these geese. It is down there. It's not nice. It's just not nice. So I don't want people to think fat makes you fat. The abundance of anything can make you fat, whether it is carbs, protein, or fat, but we're talking an exorbitant amount. Now, my people, you being my people, a lot of us were under eating. So for me to say, drop your protein down a little bit and up your fat, almost everybody that I talk to, they're like, but that's going to put me over my 1,200 calories. And I'm like, good. It should put you over your 1,200 calories. And I don't think it was any way you can. I think it might have been Keto Continuum, where Dr. Boz makes a comment about this one patient that she had that she took from 800 calories to 2,800 calories. And that's one of the only times that you really ever hear the calorie talk. And there's a reason for that. Everybody's different. Everyone needs something different, and everyone's in a different place. So it's hard for us to say, oh yeah, just everyone up your fat and lower your protein. Most of you, my people, have come from under eating. We've gone from one extreme to the next. We've replaced our carbs with our protein. So we're a little bit different. And so that once I started looking into it, I was like, okay, I'm going to be honest. I almost didn't even put that part in the whole video. I almost cut it out because I was like, this is going to confuse so many people. And I was afraid that people would be like, yeah, no, see, you don't want to eat that much fat, and lower it way back down where it's underneath what your protein even is. Even though she has the other things that say, 15% and from 800 to 2,800 calories. things like that. So, yeah, don't Google it. I think she might have just misspoken the word that exactly. I actually did email her and say, I'm sorry, can you like break this down for me because my mind is not comprehending it. I thought we needed insulin. Like, can geese get into ketosis? Because in a lot of her books, she says that this is the coolest diet on the face of the planet because you literally pee out the fuel that you don't use. So if that's the case, then why are they getting fatty livers from over consuming the fat? So I was confused and I messaged her, but she was on her way to the keto event and she had all the other stuff going on. I almost left it out. But then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to just my ridiculous curls. I was like, no, I'm going to just leave it. And it's going to, spark some interesting conversations. So here we are. Interesting conversation number 1. There you go. I have 4 geese. I'd rather enjoy their eggs. You know what? I have no idea where my geese are laying their eggs. One, I'm not even entirely sure. I think I have 1 gander and 3 geese. I think. I'm not positive. Not sure. But I can't find their eggs. They are in a pen that is a whole acre and it is got grass that's like thigh high. It's really hard to walk through the entire thing. I kind of wonder if the emus are eating them because I can't find them at all. So I'm like, I want my goose eggs. It's about time. I deserve the goose eggs. I've never actually had goose eggs. So I need to start going out there every day and like walking the entire pen. I sure hope so, because I'm sure eating a lot of it. I actually kind of want to do an experiment on myself. And that's the thing I started to. Oh, hens. I wasn't sure if they were called just geese or hens. Okay, hens. Hiding them for 2 weeks. You're going to wake up one morning and have goslings. That's what's going to happen. I've been trying to like overfeed myself on fat specifically. And if I overdo it one day, the next day I can't bring myself to eat. Like I'm just not hungry. So I truly would be doing the gravage, the overfeeding, like the force feeding. So I'm like, nope, just not going to do it. Bonnie said it was interesting when you asked her about lowering protein and upping fat. Her response was to limit that eating window. And I wanted to show that there's different approaches to getting into ketosis because one size does not fit all. And she has worked with patients coming from standard American diet. So if you keep that in mind, that is most of her clientele. Like she does work with some carnivores, but most of her clients are standard American diet. Well, in standard American diet, how much protein do you eat? According to my plate or the food pyramid or any of those other things, 25% of your plate should have protein on it. The rest should be plants. 75% of your plate should have grains, vegetables, and fruit on it. That is a plant-based diet. That is not a meat-based diet. You're allowed 1 small cup of milk and 1 cup of orange juice. That is a plant-based diet. So people coming from standard American diet already aren't eating that much meat because they're eating the burger. It's got cheese on top of it. It's got the veggie toppings. It's got the bun. You eat it with the side of French fries or possibly a salad if you're trying to be healthy. And then you drink it with a Coke. So most of that meal is not meat. Most of that meal is plants. So making that shift from standard American diet over to being in ketosis is easier to do because they aren't eating 3 pounds of meat a day, which generally ends up being a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's why her perspective is a little bit different. And for us, a lot of people were under eating that I work with. And that's one of the things that kind of makes us different, which is why I want to offer a different approach, because just getting into an eating window for a lot of the people that I've worked with is not safe, because that will lead back to the eating disorders. I didn't have time, and I'm only doing a 4-hour eating window today, so I got like 700 calories in, and I figured that's good enough. Or I'm going to literally eat nonstop for 4 hours, and then they can get like 4,000 calories in, which is why I focus on the macros. Now, anybody can choose which way they're going to do it. A gander is a male goose, yes. So anyone can choose which way they're going to do it. Do you want to do the eating window, or do you want to do the macros and work on your protein and your fat? Most of our people, it varies. It really does, because some people can't work on their macros, or not willing to work on their macros, but they would be more than willing to work on their eating window. So each person is different. But yes, we definitely presented several options, like an array of options for working with this, because she has a different approach than I do. I work with mostly carnivore people. She works with mostly standard American diet people. She does have some carnivores sprinkled in there. And she said that some of them, she can't get any results until they're at a 72-hour fast. So I wonder, if they were to reduce their protein down to a manageable level, would it have been easier than that 72-hour fast? However, there's some that are going to be like, I'm keeping my protein, and I'd rather do the 72-hour fast. If it works for you, it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's so hard to tell people like one size fits all, this is the approach, which is why that conversation was a really good one to have, because there's so many more options than just working on your eating window, and my numbers would be proof of that. I've been raising calories for a few weeks now, scary, but it hasn't changed my numbers to the good either. Are you gaining weight? Just out of curiosity, because it for some people it does. Tara says not me. Tara says not me. I grew up with a Tara. Oh my gosh. I was always eating a lot, hence my overweight issues. The crazy thing about being overweight, it is a malabsorption, lack of nutrition. You are undernourished if you are overweight or underweight. Fun, right? I don't worry about calories. I just count the carbs and protein grams and concentrate on fat intake. I think I've been under eating. I think a lot of people have been under eating. One person, and that's one of the things. Is it this one? Or no, I think she just talks about it in Maybe Any Way You Can. One of her, I don't see it on here. One of her stressing your metabolisms, like the mega big protocols, one of hers actually involves lowering calories to 900 calories a day. And she said that should never be performed on your own. That should be done under the supervision of a doctor. Nobody should be eating 900 calories a day and that being your baseline metabolism, unless you are under the care of a doctor and you are fighting cancer. Nobody should be eating 900 calories a day, or even 1,200 calories a day, depending on how big you are. Like, we are under eating, and we've been under eating for so long, and we've destroyed our metabolisms. And that's why I think lowering the protein down, reducing the insulin and the inflammation in the body, and then upping the fat, once your body gets the hang of turning those into ketones, it's just going to turn everything into ketones, and it's going to be fantastic. Most of my people, if we overconsume our fat, we lose weight. Across the board, we lose weight. almost every single one of them, when they're trying to do this like little experiment. However, there are the ones who are gaining weight when trying to do this. I tell you, if that happens, stop immediately. Stop. You need to go back to what you were doing, and you need to make a much slower shift, or you may be one that would do better with the eating window. And a lot of the people who do that, come to find out, they were severely under eating before. And then they just threw everything out the window and started eating a bunch of fat. And their body's like, yeah, we only run on 700 calories a day. And now you're giving us 1,700 calories a day. So we're going to store all of that. Thanks. Because it doesn't know any better. But yeah, so that there's so much to it. And this is why I created my groups, so that I can help people more one-on-one, and we can dial in your macros, because there's only so much I can do here. I don't count anything anymore. I just know that pork belly and cheese are good and good and fatty. Few nuts, not so many. If that's what's working for you, then I am very happy for you. Yeah, working on reducing the eating window now. That's all I can do. Everybody is on their own journey. I don't like counting macros, but I know that over the past 6 years, I have not eaten more than 20 carbs per day, usually not anywhere near that amount. So that leaves fat and protein to dial in. A gander is ML Goose. Oh, yes, it jumped. Just Google that after you said it. Right? It is poison. So what exactly helps you deplete your storage of glycogen? That is a goal, right? Because that's what causes your fasting blood sugar to be high, because I'm limiting carbs and sugar. The stinky part about trying to clear out your glycogen, it's not just carbs and sugar that can cause it. It's protein too. Back to this, 15% of your diet for most people. Some can go up to 20% and still be in ketosis and be fine, but they're more metabolically healthy than the rest of us. I think I know a couple who are up to like 25, maybe even 30%, but they are actually quite metabolically healthy and flexible. So their body doesn't overreact. The insulin doesn't shoot sky high when you use the protein. But my husband when we went keto, he had a fatty liver, confirmed. We went keto for a year, and it was the high fat keto, like 75% fat, 20% protein, and then the rest was carbs. And he cleared up his fatty liver, confirmed by ultrasound. We then went carnivore for a year, and we were doing a 1-to-1 protein to fat ratio. He got another fatty liver. He was eating less fat being a carnivore than he was when he was keto. The higher fat on keto cured his fatty liver. The higher protein on carnivore created another one. So it's not just the carbs and the sugar that cause your fatty liver. I am convinced 100% that the higher amounts of protein for you personally can cause a fatty liver, because my husband 100% did it all by himself, doing carnivore. Less fat than on keto. Keto healed his fatty liver. Carnivore gave him a new one. So we're going back to keto, but we're going back to keto as carnivores. We're not, and that's the thing, is that keto is not a diet. It is a state of chemistry in your body. I think that a keto diet, like, that's a bad word. It really is a bad word, because it's very misleading. We have been taught that if we are low carb, we are eating keto. That is not true. If we eat low carb, that just means that you're low carb, because not everybody is in ketosis. Ask 90% of the carnivores that came with me on this journey. They started checking their fasting blood sugar numbers and their ketones, and they were like, yeah, I thought for sure I was in ketosis because I'm literally zero carb. They don't even eat eggs or dairy. And yet they were pre-diabetic. So I'm more PKD, Paleolithic ketogenic diet. That is what I do. That is a ketogenic carnivore diet. That is absolutely very, very, very limited veggies, if any veggies. Hi, Thomas. That is no seed oils, no vegetable oils, no fiber of any kind, absolutely no fruit whatsoever, very limited dairy, but it has to be ketogenic. And that's the key. If you eat too much protein, you will not be in a state of ketosis. I tried to bring back in the lettuce because I really, really missed my salad. Like, I really missed my salad and I tried, but man, my body didn't like it at all. So that has kind of been my trial and error of, can I go back to keto the way I was before? No, I can't. I know my friend, one of my best friends, she's like, steakums with onions and cheese. And I'm like, I'm afraid to try the onions. So I'm going to get some steakum because it's like 13 grams of fat to 5 grams of protein. Like, those are beautiful. I can't eat avocados. They make my heart palpitate and they make my ankles swell. And so when I say keto, I mean ketogenic, not with the plants and the almond flour and almond milk. No. Animals evolved with a diet. We evolved with a diet, back to nature. And here's my thing. And I've talked about this before in one of my lives, actually. Animals and humans are evolving one generation at a time. And we are adapting with the animals. So plants are a whole different story. Plants would normally evolve 1 year, 1 generation at a time. But we're screwing with them. And now we take one plant and we take its offspring and we manipulate it 100 different ways. And then we grow those and we see what happens. And then we take the best one of that. We take 100 of them, we manipulate it 100 new ways, and we grow that all year long in greenhouses. We never have the winter to rest. We're turning these over. So as humans, we've only evolved and changed in 1 year. We've only changed 1 year. But the plants that we are consuming have technically changed, evolved, and altered by like hundreds of years every single year that we go on. Like grapes. Grapes used to be these teeny tiny little things. And then we had the big juicy grapes. And now we have cotton candy grapes. Like, that may have been their natural evolution. If left alone, it probably would have taken thousands of years to get to that point on its own in nature. But because we have advanced it, I think that our plants have outpaced us. And because of that, we don't know how to handle the higher amounts of sugar and the higher amounts of oxalates and the lower amount of protein. And it's inaccessible. It's in ways that we don't know how to process it. I think that's why we have such a hard time with the plants, even if it's organic and even if it's this and that. This is totally my theory. Like, this is just what I truly believe. I think that those plants outpaced us. Because if we had been left alone with the plants to evolve every year a little bit together, the plant's going to make a little bit more of something because we're chopping its head off when we're cooking it. But then that gives us time to adapt to it back and forth in a symbiotic relationship. Because we're playing Frankenfruit with all of these plants, we can't keep up with it. But we're trying to rush their evolution to give us the biggest, brightest, juiciest, sweetest, whatever it is. And so because of that, we kind of screwed ourselves over. I think that 1,000 years in the future, if we could have left the plants alone, we would have been able to handle copious amounts of oxalates and been perfectly fine with it. Not a big deal because we would have evolved together. So that is 100% all my theory. I have never heard anyone else say that. I have never, if there's anyone else who's saying that, then point me in their direction because I want to have a conversation with them about it. But yeah, so that's my theory. That's why I think plants can be so bad for other people. Oh, oh my goodness. What is that? RN doctors, I think. RM doctors. 10, 11. I took my blood sugar this morning was 116 and my ketones are 0.1. Dr. Boz ratio of 1,116. Fasted until 3 p.m. came down to 245. Yes, that is very, very, very common. Very common. Amy, if I eat leaner steak like sirloin and then add the fat of my choice, I can control both the amount and the protein. And I think that eating leaner cuts of meat is the key to this, because then you know exactly how much protein you're getting. It's still an estimate. I'm just going to say it's still an estimate, but it's easier to track. It's easier to track fish or chicken thighs than it is to track a ribeye. Have y'all ever seen a ribeye that looked like another ribeye? Even if they come off the same roast and they're side by side, they have different amounts of fat, they have different amounts of sinew, they have different amounts of protein. So no matter what, when you're tracking, everything is an estimate. Like everything is an estimate. It's just going to kind of get you close. I like the eating window with 2 meals when I am not hungry, and try the OMAD. That is a problem. I either overeat or not enough. 2 meals gives me the time to get on all the fat and the protein. And follow your numbers. If you're doing Dr. Boz, follow your numbers. That is the key. If what you're doing is working, don't change a thing. Leave it. She told me, don't mess with it. Don't change a thing until your numbers aren't working for you anymore. So what did I do? I didn't have my fatty bedtime tea last night. Just never got around to it. I underate yesterday. I was only at like 1,600 calories, I think. 14. I don't remember. I underate yesterday just a little bit. I was in a lot of pain. I woke up this morning and had, for me, pretty darn low ketones. So I was like, should have just had the fatty bedtime tea, because what I'm doing is working. And I am in no way, shape, or form overeating my calories and my fat. Let me see. Seems like there was a couple of, I used to eat 500 calories a day when I took HCG capsules. Yeah. Lost weight, but gained it back very quickly. Exactly. But if you cut down on the meat, what's left to eat at all? Fat, lots and lots and lots of fat. That's why on my What I Eat in a Day videos, it's the yolk waffles covered in butter, bone marrow, putting yolks or popping yolks on sandwiches and dipping things into yolks as well. You can take a ground beef bowl. If you can handle cheese, you're going to put cheese in it. You're going to pop like 3 yolks on top of that with taco seasoning. It makes the most amazing taco meat ever. And that's the thing. Like everybody says that. They're like, if you take away meat, then there's nothing left to eat. That's because we've gotten so used to not eating all of that. So yeah, back to the glycogen stores. Patience, slow and steady. You have no idea how big your liver is. And carboholics actually have bigger livers than alcoholics. So you can have a liver that's 50% bigger than it should be. And when you finally lower your insulin, and for everyone that looks different, for some people it's 15% protein and 85% fat, or 80% fat and 5% carbs, or like it's a different blend for everyone. Some people are, 20% protein, 25% protein, and their insulin is still able to come down. That's the key. Finding where your insulin responds, where your body's chemistry responds. Once your insulin begins to come down, which is what the Dr. Boz ratio is, and then your body goes, okay, we can spring clean. We can get rid of some of this extra storage in our oversized liver. So it'll pop a bubble of glycogen, which is stored glucose, a string of glucose that is stored in your liver. It'll pop it. Well, then that raises your blood sugar. And this is why a lot of people are finding that now that they've lowered their insulin, their fasted morning blood sugars are horrible because they're popping these glycogen bubbles. So what happens when your blood sugar goes up? It's supposed to raise your insulin because it has to, because high amounts of glucose in your blood can be deadly. So that raises your insulin. Your body burns a little bit of that glucose, but then the darn insulin puts some of it back, and it puts it back into storage again. And then you have to pop another one, and then you burn a little bit of it, but then the insulin puts some more of it back. And it's this kind of ebb and flow, and it takes you a little while, but you can chip away at your liver. Some people take a lot longer to do, and other people can go through it pretty quickly. It depends on the size of your liver and how chocked full of glycogen and or fat that it has become. I don't know. I stowed the scale. Are your clothes getting any tighter? Maybe? Or are you good? Because if you don't think that you're going up or down in weight and you're not, your clothes aren't getting more restrictive, then just stay the course. You're probably good. Lori, here too, and no rain was in the forest. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I missed it. My numbers are inconsistent. Some mornings my Dr. Buzz ratio will be in the 70s, and other mornings it can be in the 200s. It could be how much protein you're eating the day before, or it could simply be popping glycogen bubbles. Keto Continuum, not the workbook, this is a workbook, but the Keto Continuum is the story of David. And one of his biggest challenges is popping his glycogen bubbles. And his morning fasting blood sugars are way higher than they should be. And she tells him, you should have been diagnosed a diabetic. You are an undiagnosed diabetic. And those are the ones that tend to have the harder time when you are trying to get really good Dr. Buzz ratios every morning. You should have been a diabetic, and your body's chemistry is really screwy, and it's going to take a little while for it to come back into alignment. And patience is literally the only thing that you can do. The rain. Oh, y'all, I barely slept last night. I barely slept the night before that. It was terrible because I hurt my foot. And so hurt my foot. That was a lot of pain. And so that the first night that I didn't sleep because of that. And then last night I didn't sleep because the storms were rolling through. Holy cow. Like, we didn't lose power. Like, it flickered a couple of times, but the lightning was constant and the giant booms. I'm pretty sure we probably lost a couple of trees around the property because, yeah. Sharon asks, Amy, do you still use ketones in a can? No, not right now. I have them, but I am not using them because what I do to my foot. Yeah, I'll tell you that in a minute. I used them the first week, maybe two, might have been like 2 weeks, just to kind of encourage my body to start making its own ketones. But because I have fantastic ketone numbers, I'm not going to use those until I stop having fantastic ketone numbers, because I have a whole lot of autoimmune problems and under the surface problems that I need to deal with. I need to keep those ketones in circulation. So I want to make sure that I am able to continue to do that, even if I have to supplement a little bit with the ketones in a can. So I'm saving them. They're in my cupboard waiting until I need them. Let me see. Why do I have a recommended video of a whole chicken boiled in Coca-Cola? I have no words for that. I literally don't know how to respond to that. That is hilarious. Okay, so Chrissy says, restless arms are keeping me up. It's so frustrating. Chrissy, have you had your iron checked? think it was iron that someone said restless leg and restless arm actually has to do a lot. I think it was iron because iron is responsible for taking oxygen to your cells. So if your cells aren't getting oxygen, you can start to have those types of things. I'm pretty sure it was iron that I heard and read, but I'm not positive. Oh, you only slept 12 hours last night. I'm only slightly jealous. Do you know any reason why vitamin D would be low? I'm outside a lot. Yes, because you are not converting it well. If you are getting it outside, one, how much of your skin is exposed? Where do you live on the globe? Are you closer to the equator? You would need to be in a bathing suit at least 20 minutes a day with full sun in order to get the amount of vitamin D from the sun that you would need. And these get in the way. Like 80% of your skin has to be exposed for a solid 20 minutes at the equator. So the further away from the equator you get, you still have to be as much skin as possible exposed, but the time out in the direct sunlight with no sunblock on whatsoever, no shade, no shading clothes, totally changes how much time you're going to need to absorb the amount of vitamin D. And if you're eating vitamin D or taking vitamin D and still not doing it, you probably have some form of intestinal permeability or leaky gut. Layman's term, leaky gut. Let me see. I've just found you around a month ago on YouTube, and now I'm into Dr. Boz and her advice. I do offer one-on-ones, Transcender, and the VIP group is down below. It's linked below in the description. But I should probably link my personal coaching link, huh? I should do that. My prices are going to be going up pretty soon. If you get into the VIPs right now at $30, you're grandfathered in and it stays there. If you do personal coaching with me right now, it's $99. You will be grandfathered in. But come September 1st, I'm raising my prices because the price of the Mighty Network has gone up. The price of Artlist has gone up. The price of Quaderno has gone up. The price of everything has gone up. And so I have to compensate for that, unfortunately. But yeah, so I can actually go. I might be able to do it right here. I don't know. We're going to try to be fancy here for a second. We're going to see if I totally screw it up. I might totally screw it up. That's the one. Let me edit it. Okay, I'm going to see if I can put this in there, and hopefully I don't kill anything. Because knowing my luck, I'm going to kill it. Hang on. Copying, pasting. That's not how you spell personal. Okay. Personal coaching, I just put that down there. I'm saving it. We'll see what happens. Not a clue if that's going to work. Okay, so $99 a month, what that gets you. Quit that one. Yes, that one. $99 a month gets you one personal one-on-one with me, unlimited emails and or messages via whichever way you want to talk, whether it's Instagram, Messenger, or Marco Polo. I'm learning Marco Polo. I'm working on it. And then you also get access to my VIPs. In my VIPs, we do 3 meetings a week via Zoom. And the reason that I do the group coaching as well is because you actually learn more in a group setting than you do one-on-one. One-on-one, you have an entire hour with me to be able to really dial in your macros. You can tell me all the things you don't want anyone else to know that won't go any further than our Zoom meeting itself. And so that I focus solely on you for that hour. Whereas in the VIPs, we do 3 meetings. I'm learning Marco Polo. I'm using Emily to do it. So in the 3 meetings a week, in the VIPs, we have topics that we talk about on Mondays. It's all about Dr. Boz. It is a community hangout. And then the evening one is all about Dr. Boz, the high fat, moderate protein. And then on Thursdays, we generally have another topic that can kind of go either way. You don't have to be a Dr. Boz goer if you're going to be part of my VIPs. I've got some people who are doing it, some people who aren't doing it. We also have a documentary viewing that we do once a month together, and then we discuss it afterwards. Saw personal coaching in the show notes. Ha! Fantastic. It worked. So that is what you get with the two different ones. Thomas said, hit the like button. Thank you, Thomas. But that is the two differences, is the 1 hour that's just for you and the unlimited messaging, emails, or anything else that you need during the month. And I've had to start telling people when they message me on Instagram or on Facebook, I'm like, I can't, I would love to answer this question, but I have a bunch of other stuff that I have to go and do. If you really want to work on this, I'm going to need you to come and join one of the groups so that I can really give you the time that you need to help you figure this out. And the goal is to teach you and then set you free. I don't ever want you to stay forever. Like, we want to teach you. And the video that Emily and I just recorded yesterday, it goes up on Tuesday. Normally it's a what I eat in a day, but it's a little different now. So that one is going to come out, and in that we kind of explain exactly what I'm talking about right now. So make sure to look for that on Tuesday. What training have I had? I started with Dr. Berg. I took his course and got certified through him. And then I went to Maria Emmerich. I took her whole course and then got certified through her. And then I have taken Dr. Boz's continuously keto course, and I drove to Pella, Iowa, and I took her brains course in person. So I have had those ones. She just doesn't do, at the moment, she doesn't do certifications. I think that they might be looking into that in the future, but that would be like later down the road in the future. But she was talking about that. I have been a Patreon of Dr. Berry's for a couple of years, and I sit in on his private Zooms with his VIP group, and I get to learn and hear what he has to say and ask him all of my other questions as well. I think that's all of my like training. But then I also have worked with a lot of clients, and honestly, that I learn a lot more from working with the clients about things that I never really thought about. And that actually makes a really big difference. So I think that I've learned probably just as much from working with my clients as I have from the other ones, because no one size fits all. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Oh yeah, Blaze said that your vitamin D can also be low if you're fighting an infection. Very, very, very true. Oh, Pam said, Amy, you mentioned that you're living in continuum number 2. Are you losing weight? Actually, yes, I am losing weight. It's very, very, very slow. And I am, honestly, it's somewhere between number 1 and number 2, because I have a fatty coffee. Then I have at like 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have a fatty coffee. Then I'll have another one at 10. And then I will have a lunch. I'll have lunch, and then I'll have dinner. And then I'll have a fatty bedtime tea if I'm being good. And that's at like 8 o'clock at night. So for 12 whole hours, I eat or consume calories of some kind. But my body is very happy with it. And it's making amazing ketones, and my glucose is doing good. And I've gone back to only checking in the morning just so that I can get a true picture of my health now that I kind of know what everything's going to do. And then, Allie, I need to answer your question. What I did to my foot. So over on Instagram, me and another lady were having a stories war. And she had posted, we were doing the workshop, the Beyond Carnivore workshop, and she posted that she had made her iced tea and she was getting ready to watch. And so I was like, I'm a tea person. Where's my tea? And she says, I'll put it in the fridge for you so it can brew the 14 hours for you to drive here. So I said, okay, I'm on my way. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth forever. And then she's like, and poolside. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I do these little stickers of me running across the map, to do a cannonball run. So she does an actual cannonball and tags me. I don't have a pool. So I went out to my creek and I cleared out a spot in the creek to just kind of jump in the creek. And then I'm like, that's the best I got. Well, on the fourth jump, because you're taking a couple of them to get the best one, on the fourth jump, I missed. And I hit a spot that I hadn't cleaned out. And I punctured the bottom of my foot and something went probably a solid 1/4 to 1/2 inch up inside of my foot. And I felt it pop and I didn't feel the pain right away. And I was like, oh, that is going to be bad. So I climbed out of the creek and I was standing over by my phone. I stopped my phone and I was like, Bella, I need you to go get daddy. And she's like, why? Why? And I was like, I hurt my foot. And she goes, oh, let me see. I was like, I don't think you want to see it. I said, it's got a lot of blood. And she goes, no, come on. Let me see it. I said, okay. So I picked up my foot and she goes, oh, I'll be right back. Because the whole bottom of my foot was just covered in shiny red blood. So she runs up, gets daddy. I'm like, tell him to bring the paper towels. So he brings the paper towels down. I limp up there. It's not very big. It's a slit that's like not even a centimeter. It's maybe 1/2 centimeter. It's not that big. But man, oh, the pain. It was getting pretty intense. And Bella is totally tough. I washed it with clean water. I poured hydrogen peroxide on it and in it. And because I don't know what punctured my foot. If it was a stick, it could have broken off inside of me. I don't know. I did not go to the ER. Are you kidding me? I put iodine in it. I put colloidal silver in it. I had Richard do it. I was like on the couch with my foot up where the head's supposed to be and my head down where the feet are. So it was like way up. So he's like dropping iodine and colloidal silver into this like wound. And then I put Neosporin on it and put a bandage on it. First day, of course, it hurt. Took medicine. Second, barely slept that night because the medicine wore off at like 3. And by the way, I have a ton of medical people in my family. And I've dealt with a lot of medical stuff. So I kind of honestly like overkilled it a little bit, but I don't know what I got. What it was. So I was kind of in shock. Like it was hard to breathe because it hurt a lot. So for the first day, I could barely like move. I couldn't walk. I couldn't anything. I was keeping Motrin in me because it was horrible. The pain was really bad. And then I told a friend what had happened. And most people I don't tell. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm complaining and, oh, woe is me. So I don't tell many people. And I told her, I was like, I'll tell you. So I told her and she goes, well, don't you have homeopathic remedies? And I was like, well, yeah, but what's there going to be for a puncture wound? And so she told me which one it is. She was like, do you have this one? And I looked and I was like, yeah, I do. She goes, take that. She goes every 3 hours. And then in the morning. And I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. I'm sure it'll work. So I'm like, I'm just going to try it. When it doesn't work, I'll just go back to doing what I'm doing. So last night I took one and then 3 hours later, because I was still awake from the storm, I took another one. And then 3 hours later, I took another one because the storm was still going 6 hours later. It was ridiculous. It was almost impossible to sleep. So I took another one, fell asleep, woke up this morning at like 9, like pretty late. Took one more, got up, walked to the bathroom. I walked to the bathroom. And I was like, no way. There's no way. Like yesterday, it felt like there was an egg yolk in the bottom of my foot and I couldn't walk on. It was so painful. I was like, oh, maybe homeopathic remedies work even better when you're in ketosis because holy cow. Like it was, I haven't taken any more Motrin today at all. So, yeah, I'm probably going to get some more of those because if they work like this in ketosis, I am totally amazed. I messaged my sister-in-law, by the way, who is a doctor, and I told her what I did. And I was like, how long do I do this? How long do I wait until I get worried about this? And she was like, for that kind of injury, a solid week. She was like, you jacked up your soft tissue horribly. She was like, so give it a week unless you start to get a fever or chills. She's like, then you need to go be seen. You know, probably need to go do a tetanus if you haven't had that in a while. So, that is what I did to my foot. And I'm walking on it today. I am completely blown away. Today is day 3. I should be in so much pain. Day 3 is always the worst. I should be way worse off today. It was swollen and it was starting to get a little bit red. Like my little toes look like sausages. No Motrin. Like I laid in bed. I took the Motrin this morning at 5 and it's 4. It's been 11 hours. I have no Motrin in me whatsoever. And I'm just completely blown away. So it's been fantastic. I would love to take Dr. Boz's brains course, but it's crazy expensive. That's the one that she presents to the DOD. Like it is incredible. I absolutely will be saving up the money to buy that course because it is phenomenal. And I want to have the materials that she has done so that I can use it and show my clients, this is what your brain is doing. This is why you're having such a hard time with your addiction. This is why it's so hard to think clearly. It's absolutely incredible. So I will be saving up to get that one, even though there's no certification or anything like that at the moment. I want that because it's just it's given me a whole new understanding with not only my clients, but the people in my life. I can look at them and go, I can understand now that is why you are having a hard time, and to help them overcome those kinds of things is it's incredible because I can be like, okay, no, so let's approach this from a different angle, not just don't eat that many carbs. It doesn't work that way when you're dealing with a true physical addiction. Transcender, $30 a month. The VIP group with 3 Zooms a week. Also, do you get the once a month with you at that price? No, that's the $99. Yeah, that's the $99 a month. So it's the VIPs plus the one-on-one and the unlimited messaging as well. Because if you're not a personal client, I will not unlimitedly message you back and forth. I don't have time to do that with everybody. Whoop, it jumped. Hydrogen peroxide does tend to pull and push foreign objects out, even if it takes a couple of days, so it's worth a soak or two. And I'm cleaning it every single day. I clean it twice a day with the hydrogen peroxide. I actually was going to do a Epsom salt soak tonight, now that it's not hurting that much. So I'm going to do that as well. And then I thought about soaking it in hydrogen peroxide. I just hadn't done it yet. So I might do that. Is the creek clear enough for snorkel gill to find the culprit? It's the part that I jumped in was like that deep. So if I go out there, I'll just be like, yep, it was a stick. I don't think it was a piece of metal. I think it really was a stick, which is actually kind of worse because the sticks in the creek, if you pick them up and you go like this, they just like disintegrate. So I may have crap in my foot. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe ketosis will be like get out and like just push it back out of my foot. I don't know. Because I feel incredible today, like so much better. Although I should share one other thing with you guys when I catch up. Let me write it down so I don't forget it, because I don't want to forget it. And I need to stop talking in like 20 minutes. These lives always go so very long. Nope, continue number 1 is fueled on glucose. Okay, so yeah, continue number 2. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's like I eat all day, but 20 carbs, I laugh. I laugh at 20 carbs. Let me see. What are those? I'm assuming you mean the homeopathic remedies. That could be. I should have my husband go get it. Hang on. I'm going to yell at my husband because I do that a lot. I'm sure he's like,
What?
my homeopathic remedies. I was telling him about it. I haven't even told him. Like, he just woke up, so I have not told him about it yet. Do we get to see the video of you jumping in the water? It's on Instagram, and it's in my stories right now. Thank you, love. So these,
Stupidity to the world.
I'm never the one that does anything stupid. So I got to do the stupid thing for once. So these are the homeopathic remedies that I got, and I was like, I don't know. So this is what they look like. Yes, I'm gonna get more of these. I'm gonna 100% gonna get more of these. So it's these teeny tiny little glass containers, and they have teeny tiny little balls in them. Let me pull out the one. I don't know if it's Leadum or Ledum, but this is the one that she said. And in my book, there's a little book that comes with it. Adventurous. That's it. In my little book. This was on Amazon, by the way. I mean, if you can buy it from someone else, then buy it from someone else. But everyone I tried to buy it from was out. So I got it on Amazon. So she was like, do you have any Ledum or Leadum? I think it's Leadum because it's Latin. So I think the E, is it Leadum? How do you pronounce it, Sammy? I don't know. Leadum is the #1 remedy for puncture wounds and black eyes. It says it right there in the book, puncture wounds. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Leadum. Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, what these are, the teeny tiny little pellets are what are in there. And you cannot touch them with your skin because these are tiny little sugar pellets. They are tiny little balls of sugar. And what's on the outside of each one is different. And it does different things. And the way that homeopathy works is it's similars. It's not something that is exact, but it's causing a reaction in your body to something similar. So like for chicken pox, you would take one of these that was made from poison ivy. It's totally mind-boggling. I'm just beginning to learn about it. Thank you, Blaze. But I have never had anything work like that before, ever. So I think that there might really be something to this. And I think that possibly being in ketosis absolutely helped it to work better. So now I am going to learn more about this. They also never go bad, ever. There are some that are 150 years old and they're just as potent as they were when they were first made. And they are little tiny sugar tablets. But one thing that you guys need to keep in mind is that in order for your blood to have too much sugar or carbs in it, you need to have about 7 grams of carbohydrates, of sugar. So that's a heaping teaspoon of sugar. These tiny little things are nowhere close to a heaping teaspoon of sugar. So most people have absolutely most people who can't even have sugar can handle these. We have a little girl in our church who is violently allergic to sugar, but they use homeopathy. They have to because she can't have any kind of medication because all of them have sugar in it, and quite a bit of sugar. Like children's Tylenol is mostly sugar. So this is the only way that they are ever able to medicate their child who is deathly allergic to sugar. So I don't worry about the teeny tiny little homeopathic ones. Thank you, Blaze. You're so awesome. She's my digital assistant. She's very helpful. But yeah, I will be buying another kit. You just cannot take them with any potent flavors or scents. You cannot keep them next to, like, if you have essential oils, you can't keep them in the same cupboard as the essential oils. You can't brush your teeth and then pop one of these and have it work, because the strong mint flavors will actually neutralize these guys. So there's a lot to it. Like there's a lot. And you can buy on Amazon. I have another brand. It's called something else. It's in there, but I don't want to call my husband and I don't want to run and grab it. Oh, I should look on my phone. That would be better. I'll look on my phone real quick. On Amazon. But it's another one. It starts with a B. B-I-O-R-N, but no, something. I can't remember. B-O-I-R-O-N. That's what it is. B-O-I-R-O-N. So this is another brand that I have. And Boyron, Arnica, like those guys there. Those ones you can buy individually. So I just wanted to get a kit to start with so that I could kind of, have a bunch of options. I honestly wanted a bigger kit, but I couldn't find it. They were all out. And of course, now the prices have gone up. So, but I have a bunch of those ones, the colored bottle ones. I have a bunch of those as well. And I didn't even think about it. I absolutely did not even think about homeopathy when I hurt myself. I was like, no, I'm just going to take Motrin and do all this stuff. I don't know what I was thinking. So now in ketosis, it's absolutely phenomenal. It almost doesn't hurt anymore at all. It's so incredible. But yes, so if your big toe is messed up, I would have to say I don't know what it is. Found it, Transcender. A VIP group is separate from the one-on-one coaching. Yes, it is. But the VIP is included in the one-on-one coaching. So if you just sign up for the one-on-one coaching, you get everything. You don't have to sign up for the VIP separately. But yes. So that is I was floored. Just absolutely. So I told Emily, I was like, I got to tell you about this stuff because holy cow, $172 for a 21-piece kit. It's not cheap, but it lasts forever. Whereas like we have, bottles of Motrin and Tylenol that came with us from California because, you buy it and then you bring it with you because you don't end up using it. They expired. And I smell them and like the Excedrin, it smells like straight vinegar. I'm like, this isn't going to work anymore. So that's money that we ended up having to throw away. Whereas this stuff never goes bad, ever. And as far as I'm concerned, it worked a heck of a lot better than anything else that I tried. So I am completely blown away. It is definitely an investment, and then learning how to use it properly because it's totally different. For pain relief, yes. So there is Arnica is kind of like the main pain relief that you would ever use. And there's different potencies. So this is, I do have Arnica. We're talking about homeopathy. I was not going to go here, but I had to share with everyone that my foot doesn't hurt anymore after taking a homeopathic remedy, as bizarre as that is. So Arnica, 30 it's been diluted 30 times. Now, homeopathy is totally backwards, totally backwards. Hi, Annabella. Good morning. It's totally backwards from everything else. But it's been diluted 30 times. So what they do is they take 100 drops or 99 drops of alcohol and then 1 drop of whatever it is. And these are all made from plants, everything. And it's for similars. So if you end up with a fever, it's going to be something else that is similar to that to trigger your immune system to respond and deal with it versus just like covering up the symptoms. Yeah, arnica is really good for bruising as well. Comes with a little book to teach you like the very, very, very basics. And you would take like one every 3 hours until you get relief or until no relief happens. And then you move on, you would try something else. And then once you get relief, you would space it out. You would take just the one tiny little one, like every 8 hours after that to try to space it out. You do not take it consistently like you do with Motrin because you're not masking the symptoms. You are stressing your immune system to respond appropriately. And that is, there's so much science. Like there's so much science behind it. But what they do is they take 99 drops and then 1 drop of whatever this plant substance is. We'll just use poison ivy because that's one of the ones that they do is poison ivy. So whatever the Latin term for poison ivy is that homeopathic remedy. And so what they do is they do that 30 times. And that gives you the 30C. Well, it's completely backwards because supposedly the more you dilute it, the more powerful it becomes. And there is a whole, let me see, Joette Calabrese is who I've signed up for, and she has courses. I just do not have the money to do that either right now, but it explains how they're made. It's like a vibration and percussion and something or other, and the way that it's stirred. And like you said, Blaze, it's all about the vibrations and things like that. And the way that they extract these things from the plants, and then the more you dilute it, it breaks the particles down into smaller pieces so they go deeper into the cells. Like I really truly thought these people were crazy and ridiculous, but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. If this works as a placebo, but it works better than taking a Motrin, which destroys your gut lining, or Tylenol, which destroys your liver, I would sure as heck rather take a tiny little sugar pill that does nothing, but it's not causing my body any harm, because the teeny tiny amount of sugar in that pill is like a fraction of what we would actually take to raise your blood sugar. So if it's even just tricking me into, oh, it's the idea of my mind is, more powerful, that works for me. Because medication hurts so many people. The side effects are nasty. And so if I can take this and trick myself, even if that's all it is, my foot doesn't hurt anymore and I didn't have to take any more Motrin. So, Chrissy, there's a little girl in my church who is deathly allergic to sugar. Like it's actually on her medical charts that she is allergic to sugar. This is how her family treats her, because all medications have so much sugar in them that, and she's like 9 years old, that this does not mess with her at all. And like it's stamped on her chart that she is allergic to sugar, but she can do those. So, yeah, it's a very controversial topic. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to do it. But I would rather do this, even if it is a placebo, than put something into my body that's going to hurt it. I've done that enough, because my goodness, Accutane, how many rounds of antibiotics have I been on? What about all of the depression medications that I was on for years? All medications have side effects. So if I can trick myself into thinking that it is working, I'm okay with that, because the whole mind over matter thing, I think, would be fantastic. First do no harm, right? So even if it's not doing anything, actually doing anything, my foot doesn't hurt. I mean, like I'm sitting here, I'm up and down and nothing. Like it doesn't hurt at all. That is a complete 180. I came upstairs to record with Emily yesterday and we got on and I was like, I was in tears. I hurt so much. And I was like, I just need a few minutes to like calm down. And I have a stool underneath my desk and I had my foot up on the stool, like kinked sideways. And it was fantastic. And it felt good when it was like that. And then for 15 minutes, and then it started to cramp up and it started to hurt again. And I had to move it. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So night and day from yesterday to today. And it seems totally backwards and counterintuitive. But I have friends, local friends at our church who live on these alone, who have never, their children and they have never had antibiotics. They have never had an over-the-counter medication of any kind. They have fought off so many other things. And it's like, if that's the power of positive thinking in a tiny little pill, then that is fantastic. Because I think the power of positive thinking is a much better medication than what you can get at the pharmacy. 3 days in a treatment center. Trust me, I know. I was there for 3 days in a treatment center. It was fascinating. It was terrifying all at the same time. If you bring the frequency back into balance, like there's so much. I should ask Dr. Rimka what she thinks about homeopathy, because she understands the frequencies of our body and she understands and she promotes the grounding and all of those things, and the water, the deuterium depleted water and the living water and the cells and all that kind of stuff. So I'm curious. I'll have to message her and be like, okay, can we talk about this? Do you know what this is? Or do you think I'm crazy? I'm not sure. It could be a placebo effect, but if you didn't actually expect it to work, I didn't expect it to work. I really didn't. I was like, fine. It's honestly the same thing I did with Dr. Boz. You're probably not in ketosis. Oh, I'm sure I am. I'm going to check my numbers. I was not in ketosis. Yeah. So, like I said, it's not going to be for everybody. And that is perfectly fine. You do not have to agree with it. You do not have to try it. But you know me, I always tell you guys what I have found is working for me, because for one person, that could be the missing link to your healing and your health journey. If you ask a pharmacist if a certain prescription contains gluten, they cannot tell you. They don't know. Yes. Oh, so many of those are absolutely just it's like the medications for kids' ADHD has artificial dyes in it, causing problems. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I was going to tell you guys. I'll wrap it up. I'll tell you about what happened. We have been having huge problems with our septic system and with our pipes. Like all of our pipes in the kitchen, both sides of the sink, were getting completely clogged up. No matter what we did, we were letting the dogs lick off the plates before we were rinsing them and putting them in the dishwasher. And we were trying to use like the Mrs. Myers soap and everything. Nothing was working. The amount of buildup from the grease in our sink, like it wouldn't drain. We had to keep cleaning it out. It was horrible. And then the smell coming from the septic tank was like wafting back into the house. And we realized it's when we stopped using the Dawn to break down everything. I was like, dang it. I guess I'm just going to have to use the Dawn again. So I got gloves on, up to here so that it's not going to touch me at all, but it smells so strong. And I was like, whatever, so I'm just going to do it. The past 4 days, I have been so edgy and short-tempered, and I just start crying. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is not who I am. This morning I went downstairs. There was a miscommunication. The dogs didn't get put away properly. And then because they weren't put away properly, when Richard got home at 6 o'clock in the morning, he thought that they'd been taken out. And so he didn't take them out to go potty. So they exploded with poop and diarrhea all over the little area that they were in. So I come down to that. The fawn has made a disaster out of his area, and I didn't clean it up. Normally I clean it up morning and night, but I couldn't yesterday because I was in so much pain. So it was 24 hours since I had cleaned up his area. It's like a flippin' barn. It was so bad. There was poop everywhere. So I walk downstairs to this explosion of poop everywhere. And of course, I start crying, and I'm like on my hands and knees with my foot, thank goodness, not hurting that much, with pee pads and paper towels and gloves and trying to clean everything up. And then it hit me. If you can smell it, it's affecting you. And I was like, I can smell the dawn. Like, I can smell the chemical smell of the dawn, and it's hitting me really, really hard. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a dork. So I went online and I ordered the Dawn free and clear, because we've tried the 7th generation. We've tried the Mrs. Myers. There was a couple. We tried the Norwex. We tried a bunch of other ones that were free and clear and natural. None of them are working. We tried Dr. Bronner's. That didn't work even a little bit. We've tried so many, and none of them were working. So I was like, I'm going to have to go back to Dawn. But then I realized, nope, can't do it. Not worth it. This is absolutely not worth it. So then I ordered their free and clear. We're going to see. I'm still going to wear the gloves because it's still full of chemicals, but I'm hoping that maybe it'll be safer, because my septic system is completely backed up from all the grease, because I've got a bunch of kids who I'm teaching to take care of their own plates, and sometimes they forget and they rinse the butter down or the fat from their hot dog or whatever it is. So it's like I have to find a way to make this work. So that was my revelation. So I went in this morning, I held my breath, opened up the bottle, poured the Dawn back into the container, and we will save that for like an emergency situation, because I actually used it to unclog my sink because it's the only thing that worked. So I have the blue Dawn back in its container, and I literally held my breath while I did it, put it down, walked away, took a breath, came back and like finished it. And ever since then, I've been a lot better. I actually ran some essential oils in my diffuser, and I just felt my brain just like clear out. And I was like, oh, good. And I looked over at Bella and I just kind of grinned at her. And I was like, I'm sorry I got mad at you earlier for not putting your plate on the right spot. I was like, Mommy's brain was not working well. And she goes, it's okay, Mommy. We have bad days. It's like, oh, it was precious. Isn't Dawn a time of day? Dawn is a dish soap that they use actually on wildlife. That's like their selling point when there's a big oil spill or something like that. But yeah, Dawn, it's got 3 different artificial colors in it. It has like red, blue, and yellow in it. It's almost this color. Like it's nasty, but it cuts grease like nothing else. Like nothing else. So I'll have to let you guys know if it works, and I will still keep the gloves. I am not touching that stuff if I don't have to. This is where a face mask would be helpful. I thought about it, and so I put on a mask and I could still smell it. I was like, well, that's not helping very much. In another group I belong to, someone put lime down the drain to help with the fat. Not sure if that would work or not. I'll have to look into it. I need to go get more lime. We're actually out because I put all the rest of what we had in the chicken coop. But that one was mixed with stone dust, I think. Probably not the right one. Okay, so Christy says Dawn Free Power Spray is amazing. So I got the Dawn Free and Clear lemon scented. I'm sure that it's probably nasty. That's all they had. And then the Cascade Free and Clear too, because my dishwasher If you open it up, it's full of fat. And I have been personally like scrubbing all of the plates and the silverware and everything, but it's still full of fat. So I need the chemicals to break it down. I can't. The tallow soap shaved when I'm making my own laundry powder. I have a friend back in California that was a repair tech, not electronic, but like the big appliance repair tech. She was like all of those homemade laundry powders and dish soaps and things like that. She was like, honestly, they destroy more appliances than almost anything else. She was like, it builds up. They don't work the same. So I was like, dang it. So she told me, she was like, you just bought a new dishwasher. Do not use those. And then she would tell me horror stories about people who she had to go to their house and it was less than a year and their dishwasher was completely destroyed. And when she opens it up, it's because they've been using the natural or homemade detergents. I was like, yep. And the tallow soap just does not break down the grease. Nothing breaks down the grease like the Dawn does, unfortunately. So I might just have to go back to the chemicals on that. Like Nisha will not change her hair care routine. I may not change the fact that I have to use Dawn because I just can't help it. Yeah, we use the Dawn to have to cut the grease. I think I really screwed up my septic system. And we've had to keep putting a bunch of the septic packets down there because every couple of days to weeks it starts to off put again and it's floating back up into the house. And I'm like, okay, put another packet. So we have to break it down because of our septic system. And I don't have a lateral field. So anyways, wouldn't baking powder make it explode? Let's not find out. Please and thank you. Plus wiping every plate and pan with paper towels. Oh my gosh. I tried that. Like I made the kids leave their paper towels out on the counter and then I would use them and so many paper towels. So many. And then it's all in my trash can. And then I'm making more Dawn. We went back to Dawn. Anyways, okay. I'm really going to let you guys go now. It's been an hour and a half. I'm going to go say good morning to my husband and talk with him for a little bit and tell him that my foot's better by the power of positive thinking. So anyways, okay, guys, I love you. Thank you for hanging out with us for today. It was fun. I'm going to go, I don't know. I got stuff to do. So yeah, I hope you guys have a not super drenched day. And if you do get rain, then please be safe because I know some places are getting hammered right now. So be safe, guys. Yeah, I love you. Bye.